the last benchers, please come forward. I think this is going to be an interactive session. We have, from the class, we have interacted with Bhaskar all afternoon, so we are pretty excited about it. Bhaskar comes with extensive experience in sales, marketing. He's a mentor at INA, working with digital media, and Scandin. So from our discussion with him, we see a lot of value, and we hope to hear more about the organization that he's working with and currently engaged with. So we'll try to keep this more interactive and more candid. Yeah? Yeah, it's the same place. Yeah, the crowd is thin because of the rains. Okay. Right? People will join. Yeah, I think it is. See, we have some wet participants as well. For the weather is outside. But we are glad you joined. Thank you so much for coming in.
Good evening, everyone. I think I have interacted with most people in this room, but I do see some new faces. Sir, what's your name?
Anuj.
Anuj. What do you do?
I am part of this.
Okay. So probably we'll meet tomorrow. Great. And you are?
I'm new here. My name is Mayur.
Hey, Mayur.
I'm just interested in this, getting knowledge and more information. So that's why I'm here, just as an information gathering.
Great. So we'll start with growth hacking. I've been introduced, and so I don't need to say much about myself. So there is, a lot being talked about growth hacking these days, because a lot of startups have got funded, and we've seen some nice exits over the last few years in the Indian context. So suddenly, from marketing, people started to move to growth hacking, and a number of times people ask me what is the difference between growth hacking or growth and marketing. And it's very difficult. Initially, I found it very difficult to explain, because I was experimenting with growth. What is growth? How is it different from marketing? But then finally, I kind of figured it out, and a lot of others figured out before me. So growth marketing is essentially you build a product, and then you are given this product. Hey, take this product, and now go and sell. So what you do is you try to create pull through various tactics, and that's essentially marketing. Growth is more product driven. Instead of working with a product that is already there, you work with your customers to create a product that they want. Of course, it has elements of marketing in it. You do your positioning, you do your segmentation, but it is also about the product itself. So that's the primary difference between growth and marketing. So today, the agenda is that we will discuss the framework of growth. What all are the components of creating a growth engine? We'll kind of look at some iconic products. Say, we'll look at Twitter, we'll look at Facebook, we'll look at LinkedIn, and not what they are today, what they were when they started, and how did they crack their first milestone? How did they get their first million users? We'll look at the three primary components are the product, the customers, and the market. Where is the market headed? So we'll come to that. And then we'll discuss 5 iconic products today. And finally, I'd like to share a few things that I have done and how it helped me grow a few of the brands that I'm working with. So essentially, the 3 components for growth interact somewhat like this. When you want to achieve growth for your product, first question you want to answer is, what do your customers want in your product? Essentially, it's that kind of diagram. And then what you want to figure out is, where is the market headed? So by market headed, I mean if you are doing something in Internet of Things, if you're trying to create some devices, so that's the nascent market. So you have a different approach to growth. Whereas if you were probably doing something in mobile, if you're trying to build a new handset, it is a different market. So you have to figure out where are your customers and how do you market to them. And the third component is where. Where is sorry. Yeah. I think it's technical. Thanks. So now, when you made a car, when Ford started to make a car, they made only one color, black. And then what they did was they took it to the market and said, hey, black is the only color. And the market thought, yeah, black is the only color. So the earlier concept of you build it and people will buy it does not work in today's context. So it's always, you always end up failing, especially if you're a startup trying to do a product, trying to do a SaaS product or a B2C product or whatever, web product. So, and Paul Graham has kind of very aptly captured this in this diagram. It's called Life of Startups. Essentially what happens these days is you start with a bang, you kind of do a tech crunch kind of covers you. So you see a surge in traffic, you see about thousands or millions of users coming, depending on what your app is or what your product is. But then, after that, there's a nosedive. There's no traffic, there's no, and then it kind of flattens down. You enter a valley. Now here, this is the major challenge. This is the period which is very challenging for startups, because what startups start doing is they start creating features in a product that have no value. They create features because they like those features. And this leads to, because of this, 98% of startups kind of end up over here. They crash. Few of these startups kind of figure out how to work with their customers, how to figure out what their customers are. They make a lot of pivots, they make a lot of mistakes, and then that is when they kind of get that J curve or hockey stick or whatever. So at this stage, like, I would like to, I mean, I've interacted with so many teams, like, do you relate with this kind of, what's your take on this? Where do you see yourself? So that is, and even not in your current startup, have you ever been there?
Part of PLS, we have been there, yes.
Yeah.
Product leaders forum, yes.
Yes.
When we were marketing it, I think we have seen that stage.
Yeah, so you kind of saw a surge, 500
Then
people.
in traffic, then after that, no traffic. So that was the scenario.
Correct. So yeah, so this is a big challenge, because once you see the upside and then when you go down, it becomes challenging. It's like, how can I go wrong? So whatever I'm thinking is right. I will keep doing the same thing, and you kind of lose focus over there. So let's quickly go to see the first component of the framework, which is the product. As a startup, what you have to do, or when you are working on an idea, don't ever think of building the perfect product. Think of a core product value. Think of a core product value and build a minimum viable product around that. What is the core product value that you want to offer? Like in your case, wellness. Now, wellness, how will you define that? Within that, go ahead. And what is your core product value? Is it stress reliever? Is it doing better in life? Is it being happier? Or whatever? Or is it organizational productivity? And it has to be a very, very simple thing. It cannot be complex, because if it is complex, your solution is complex. So, how many people are on Twitter in this room? Significant. So, what is Twitter about? What is Twitter's core product value? Twitter is, microblogging is but what is the core value from Twitter? Broadcasting.
Yeah.
What else?
Summarize.
Creating a
140 characters.
In short form, summarize.
140 characters.
Anyone else?
short bursts of information which doesn't bore people.
Short bursts of information.
Indexing.
So I think what you are saying is going towards the core product value, but it's not the core product value of Twitter. Everything points to that core product value, but it's not that. So what we will do is, Twitter has been here for about 10 years. We'll see how the core product value has changed when Twitter was introduced and what it is today. So when in 2006 Twitter launched, this is how Twitter looked. No, what it said was, what are you doing? So Twitter wanted people to answer one simple question: what are we doing? What are you doing now? So I would have probably, if I was tweeting, I would say speaking at IPL or whatever, or watching cricket or having food at wherever. So this is what Twitter's core value was. The founders thought people want to share what they are doing at the moment. And that is what the core product value is, sharing it with whatever. And if you also see here, they have a sign up, join for free, blah, blah, blah. So this is how it looks. Now, in a couple of years, in 2008, this is what Twitter looked. Again, it said, what are you doing? But you see the difference. So in 2 years, probably the team realized enough people know what Twitter is all about. I mean, initially they had just put this together, so now they put a video, there is a big join button, sign in button, and all that. They are explaining that, hey, they have put the service that lets you connect with friends, family, and answer this question, what are you doing? In 2009, this is what Twitter looked. What is the difference over here? Sorry?
Brand was low. People knew.
Correct, that's, yeah. What is the major difference you see?
Did not explain what Twitter was about.
Search. Search. Twitter was never a search engine in 2008. Twitter was about sharing what you are doing. But they changed their entire value proposition and they wanted to become a search engine.
They started aggregating like-minded folks.
Correct. So here you go and search what people are saying about it. It's not what you are doing. It's what people are saying about. So that's where. And then you sign in, sign up. So you see, sign in became smaller because this is, as Anu pointed, people knew what Twitter is. So sign in goes up, sign up comes here. They had some users. In 2010, they realized they are going nowhere with search. Again, they had some search traffic, so they kind of kept the search. But then here again, it is, they are showing the top tweets. You could follow, you could sign in, and so forth. And finally, this is what Twitter looked in 2011. Search was way down over here, and then it is all about follow your interest. From what you are doing, it has kind of changed to following your interest. And one smart thing they did was they have both sign up and sign in on the same page, on the home page. So they are not, you don't need to make one more click to go and sign in. And this is what Twitter is in 2012. Again, nothing over here. Find out what's happening. So again, it again changed. And by 2012, Twitter was a pretty evolved product, but they were still changing. And this is even today, Twitter is the same. It's like follow your interest and connect with your friends and family. So essentially, Twitter's core value proposition today is following your interest. It's not about broadcasting yourself. It's about following what is happening about, say, Prime Minister's visit to China or whatever. So that's what the core value is. Initially, it was what I am doing. Tell the world what you are doing. So the point being here that there is nothing like a perfect core product value. It will keep evolving. So as a startup, you have to reach to a reasonable product value and take that to your customers. Let's look at the next component, which is customers. Now, and in this section, what we will discuss is how customers behave and so forth. And again, I would like to hear from you guys if it resonates with the way you are seeing in your market. So, all the time, all of us, or most of us, are looking for something new. What's new? And whenever we come across something new, we say, hey, let me try this. People who kind of like to experiment with technology, they would say, hey, let me try this. So once you try this, then you try to find out what is in it for you. Say, let's take an example for if someone has not used Uber or Ola. So you will download the app. Hey, I can book an app on my phone. Okay, fine. Once you have the app, okay, we have 300 rupees in my wallet. let me see what I can do. You will go and kind of click on that, the taxi comes to your home, you go to your office or wherever, and so that is the first experience. So then you figure out, hey, I did not have to park, I did not have to drive, and I reached where? And I paid almost the same thing I would have paid if I were driving a car. So that's kind of, you discover this is in it. But some people may say, no, yeah, I don't like to sit with a driver, I want to drive my own car. So they then, of course, Twitter is not, Uber is not the product for them. But some people will kind of say, yes, this is the product. So, but very soon, after you kind of like try the product for the first time, you try to start finding reasons to not use it. Time pe nahi aata hai. And then I have to keep giving him my location. It's such a pain to keep to direct them, to call them to my home, and when I'm having a bath in the morning, that is the time when he would call and then he would cancel. So people try to kind of find reasons to not use the product. And as a product manager or as a startup, your job is to make sure that the core product value is communicated and the customer experiences the core product value as many times as possible and as quickly as possible. Because that is when you will segment between users and non-users, people who will use your product and not use your product.
Why do you come to the, why is this inference that people will try to get an excuse to not use your product? If people like the product, they might as well adapt to it
yes.
with much less resistance.
Absolutely. That's the point. Your job is to make, so what happens is you build a product, you take it to the market. Your job is to communicate your core product value. And if you manage to do it in the first go, bingo, you are there. But most of the times you don't manage because people don't understand because some products are so complicated. So which is why they start trying to kind of not use your product. Like the example I gave, if say my first experience of Ola was to go to office and I primarily want to use it to go to office. First time, okay, Ola, I call Ola or I book the taxi on Ola, Ola comes to my office. I am very happily explaining, okay, take the first left and the third right and the fifth house is my house, whatever. But the next time the taxi driver calls me, I said, yesterday I told the taxi driver that how to come to my house. Why should I keep telling this thing again? These are the reasons. Because if my driver never asked me that. My driver never asked. So these are the reasons people kind of try to find reasons to not use your product. Because there are other influences, other ways to solve the same problem. You order food on say Food Panda. It comes at 9, you are happy. On the second day it rains and it does not come at 10:30 till 10:30. You will say, well, what the hell? I mean, first day they work, and from the next day they don't work. So that's why you kind of try to find reasons to not use your product. Any other questions?
Yeah. So, but if they don't have any alternative, what will you do?
Yes, you are assuming. Give me a product where I don't have alternative.
No, I mean the alternative could be complex or something, right?
Give me a simple product and I will give you a simpler product.
Okay, so for example, Ola, right? If it is raining, the scenario.
Uber.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a product.
Yeah. No, if he is the only player, for example.
Tinder.
There are lots of alternatives.
Yeah, there are lots of alternatives. It would all depend on what do you want from Tinder. And yes, there are. I mean, if I say I want only Indian women, then Tinder is not mine.
I told Tinder because that happens to be one of the most, not one of the best and most genuine, dating application.
Correct.
No, there is truly madly.
Yeah, there is truly madly. I mean, I can give you a number.
Truly madly is not. It is not genuine, and
Why?
it is not simpler. It is not simpler. So basically, where the Indian sites have failed is the scrutiny. So the scrutiny, what happens? In those sites which are developed in India, if you check out not just the dating websites, if you check out the matrimony sites, even they are not scrutinized. So essentially, these sites.
So by the way, dating is not an Indian concept.
It's not an Indian concept.
But it's not. So which is why you have Indian flavor of dating sites.
Yeah.
So I mean, it all depends on who you are. If I am a core Indian who wants to do things in a certain way, I would still go to Bharat Matrimony and look at women's picture.
Yeah, that's what is happening.
Yeah. So there is a value over there. And if my dad, if some kid's dad wants to find a date for his son, he would go to Bharat Matrimony, not Tinder.
Yeah, another question is you told about Ola, right?
Yeah.
So basically, the core product value there was, as like the word says, chalo niklo. It was an ease of getting taxi in the right time.
Correct.
But if you look at what is happening in the last 1 or 2 months, so you don't get a taxi within 12 minutes. That's the minimum time. And if you look at the numbers and reviews that are there on the internet,
correct.
So basically, 10% of taxi drivers in Bangalore have taken their service back.
Okay.
So they are not able to serve
10% of
taxi drivers because the incentives have been reduced.
Correct.
So what a taxi driver was paid was about 200 rupees for whatever kilometers he drives. So now they have reduced. So 10% of taxi drivers have taken it back. So the core value is not being served there.
Core value for who?
Time, the customer. So you don't get, so initially you used to get a taxi for 2 minutes.
No, so I understand. You now what Ola has done, or what all these applications have done, they have kind of gotten used to instant rickshaw. So Chalo Niklo is their second positioning. It's not their first. The first thing was on phone, then they came on app, then they came on Chalo Niklo. Chalo Niklo is just like instant rickshaw. The entire concept of instant taxi, the entire concept of taxi in India was you had to book a day in advance. Now there is a lot of logistics issue. If you take a booking and then you don't serve, so which is why all these apps, what they are doing is they are promoting instant. Chalo Niklo, abhi jana hai, like Chalo Niklo. So agreed that this is a challenge for them. Maybe they have reduced the incentives. They will further reduce the incentives. Today morning,
It's a very good move. It is actually a very good move.
Correct.
So there will be a day where the Indian and supply will match.
Correct.
So there are a lot of
Absolutely.
users who use Ola just to try it because they get it for free.
And yes, because most of the time you don't get in peak hours you don't get traffic. At 8 in the morning, 6 in the evening, but in the afternoon you will always get so many taxis around you. Anyways, I hope I kind of yes. I saw some other hand. Someone else? Anyone else? Great. So yeah, so finally, if you keep communicating your core product value to your user, some of them will like, they will refer your product, and that is the time you will be able to monetize. So probably Ola and Uber are not yet monetizing them. I mean, they are just subsidizing them from the investors' money. Okay, so now let's look at the third component, which is the market. So every product, and I know most of you guys would know it, products have a life cycle, markets have a life cycle. So you have to figure out where you are, where your product and your market is. So say if you are doing something in Internet of Things, the market is small, competition is low, so and you can do with half-baked products because you can take it to people, ask them to play around with it and see what happens. Then if the market is expanding and you are looking at say early adopters to your technology, then what you have to do is kind of have some competition in the space. It has just started increasing, it has not peaked. Now but if you are in a situation say like a cell phone, where there are by cell phone I mean handsets, there are so many handsets, so many variations. So you have to constantly kind of keep targeting, this is only for villages, this is only for this segment. So it becomes very tough. I mean, so you have to analyze where your market is headed. So and if you are kind of doing something like an email service today, everyone has email and probably there will not be email in a few years. People won't be using. So you have to be really, really creative to come up and kind of figure out what kind of product you have to make, what is your core product value, which is your market, which is your segment. And finally, if you decide to do a pager today, for some reason, so then you have to really, really be creative. What will it be used for? Maybe with Tinder it can go very well.
Yeah.
So pager, Tinder as a device which has a paging application, so you don't need a phone, you just keep that. Anyway, so that's how you have to kind of think of your product, core product value. So who would like to share their core product value and how they arrived at that?
core value of our product. So basically, what we are trying to do in FundTube is offer quite interesting content for the audience, which is captive and bold. So this is we believe that probably this would be something interesting for the user, and then there is a whole business model.
Yeah. So what is the core product here? Core product value?
The entertainment.
Entertainment. Rich media entertainment. Great. Anyone else? Yeah.
So we are working in the organic laundry space.
Okay.
We happen to be the first organic laundry of India and first in the world to harvest the drain water.
Okay.
So that's basically because we use detergents which are totally environmental friendly, 0% chemical.
Okay.
The core value here, I mean, term it as value, but something which people never consider, and we're trying to make them understand that yes, there's something which will, benefit you in terms of price, in terms of what the chemical detergents can cost you your health.
Yeah.
And how much you're saving using the organic laundry, and what you're contributing towards the nature.
Okay.
So if you look at the amount of water what is wasted per house, it's about 200 liters every day on an average to wash clothes.
Okay.
So we recycle the water. So right now we are operating in Noida with about 500 downloads on the application, and surprisingly all of them are active.
Oh,
and
100% active customers.
100%
That's nice.
active customers.
Wow. How often do they use the?
Once a week.
Once a week.
Once a week, and the
Which is
load we
very
get from the house is about 7 kgs per week.
Okay.
So that's about 1 kg every day.
It's nice. Very nice usage. If 100% is active.
And we're doing linen leasing. So linen leasing, again, we are first in India to do linen leasing.
Okay.
So we signed about 2 commercial deals with ITC.
So sorry, I did not get what.
Linen leasing.
Okay, what does that mean?
So basically, when these hotels they use bed sheets or towels or pillow covers, they dispose it after 6 months because the cloth loses the charm, the detergents what they use.
Okay.
So when we do it organically, the durability of the cloth increases by 3.5 times. So we rent the linen, the hotel they bear the cost of the wash, and we serve them for 3 years on an agreement basis.
Really nice model. Like the idea. Great. So now again in the next section what we will do is we'll quickly go through some of these the products that are iconic today, and we will not look at what they are doing today. We will look at what they did when they started. So in the initial stages, and if you relate to, and I'm not saying these are the only 5 ways to kind of grow. These are 5 examples. So everyone has their own example. Everyone has to figure out their own growth strategy. So what I will be kind of covering is there are 5 kinds of growth that products that we use every day had when they launched. So the first one is like build awesomeness into your product, and then the product will market itself. You don't need to kind of go and find customers. You don't need to do customer acquisition. The product will do the customer acquisition for you. Who uses Evernote? So why do you use Evernote?
Just keep notes.
What kind of notes?
Could be anything.
Anything. Yours?
Device
Okay. Across devices.
Same.
Across your notes across devices.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Any other reason? Yeah.
So right now I'm using Evernote. So the other thing which you could probably do is Evernote has a lot of solutions. It's like the green papers and the pens.
Yeah.
In which you can create solutions, you can transfer within your teams.
Correct.
You can get the exact kind of text format,
Correct.
or you can get a diagrammatic format.
Yeah.
It's a great tool to share rather than get into a system and type in.
Absolutely. So you can use it to share almost everything that's available. So yeah, so that's it. So and kind of the 4 answers over in the 3 uses summarizes what Evernote is. So when Evernote launched, the founder Phil Levin, he did not call Evernote a note-taking app. He called it your intellectual brain that lets you save anything and use it in a way that makes you more productive and happier. So that's what everyone is doing over here. You say it's simple. You say you can share everything, and it's across devices. So here's how they kind of initially grew. So they never wanted, to kind of grow very exponentially. They wanted to do a closed beta, and they wanted about 10,000 users to sign up. So what they did was they went to TechCrunch and they said, hey, this is our product. See if you like it, and if you like it, review us on TechCrunch. And here I'm giving you 100 invites. And of course, they did a few other things. They wanted 10,000 users. What happened was TechCrunch reviewed them, and they ended up in a month and a half having 125,000 closed beta participants. And because the product was designed so well, there was nothing like that at that moment. And they were kind of scared, like product will crash. We have not designed it for that scale. But everything went on fine. So, what I mean by great product, and especially in this Evernote's case, is like we all just pointed out, it's simple. You go and just start using it. You don't need to kind of go through a tutorial or explainer video to understand Evernote. It's consistent. So your experience across all the platforms, all the devices will be the same. They made sure that they make native app for all device, all sizes. And they created an evolving experience. Now this is very important. What they did was Evernote. So phones were also evolving. So for every new phone release, they had a version which was better than the previous. So what this made was it gave the phone manufacturers an incentive to preload Evernote. So Evernote went preloaded in all the phones. And they also did was, they kind of capitalized on the App Store launch. So today, if you go to App Store, it's all cluttered. And then if you search for note-taking application, you'll probably get 200 suggestions, including Evernote. But what they did was, when Play Store launched, they were ready. When Apple Store launched, they were ready. So much so that they also have an app for Google Glasses. They are already ready on them. So they kind of they understood that, hey, the market is just starting and we can capitalize on it. So here's a story about Evernote. So in the first year of operations, they got a term sheet. But at the last moment, the investor said, no, we are not putting money, because this was the era of Facebook and social networking. And they did not see any virality in Evernote. Who would kind of share this? Why would you share? At that time, they did not have all the team experience and all that. It was all about a person. So they kind of cancelled it. And Evernote was about to shut down. They only had about 3 weeks cash in the bank. This is when one of their customers called from Sweden and said, hey, I like your product so much that I want to invest in your company. And they took that money and then grew, and then they ended up having multiple term sheets and being a company that they are, or being the app they are. So again, no marketing done. The product did the growth. Product probably also got them funding. So that's about creating an awesome product and awesome experience. The next strategy that I would kind of discuss is market before product. So who does not use Dropbox? Does not. You don't. Everyone? You don't do. Anyone else? So 3 people don't use, but most of us use. So why do you use Dropbox? Sharing.
Syncing is the quickest.
Syncing is the quickest, correct. Access it anywhere.
Sharing is easy.
Sharing is easy. You can share huge files. Yeah.
It's hassle-free sharing. I don't have to learn anything new to share.
Absolutely. It's hassle-free. It's intuitive. So Theirs is another interesting story. Let me see if I can play the video. Yeah. So we'll go through this video and then some problem with the resolution, but we'll live with that. Audience? Yeah. Remove this everything. Can you hear this?
I can actually get the files directly, so in addition to synchronizing files across PCs, Dropbox also secure backs them up and synchronizes them to the PC. Click on any of these files and it does what you'd expect, in case you're not on your computers. As far as the Windows interface, it looks like normal Windows folder except for these green blue icons indicating when the files up to date. And Dropbox is done pulling down all of this stuff. And one idea with my Dropbox is that it fits into the way you already work and synchronizes your files continuously. So I can make a change to a document as soon as the next time. And it's saved. And actually the change will take effect just as quickly as we set the command application. So if I refresh the page, it'll indicate the change. And it even extends to another computer. So I've got my desktop right here. I can make the change on my desktop and have it reflect on my laptop. So I can do that on my desktop here. And when I come back to my laptop, you'll notice there's this notification indicating the files have changed. And I go to the file. This is changed. And the rest of my life is changed. In addition to this continuous sync being Dropbox also archives past versions of each file, so you can click this revisions option and start going back into that. So here's the version we're just looking at, and here's the version we're saving. And so
So what did you make from this video?
Pretty easy to use.
Yeah. So Dropbox had some problem, some legal issues. Someone else owned the domain Dropbox, so they had some issues. So what they did was, even before they launched the product, they bought this domain called Get Dropbox, and that is this Get Dropbox. And they knew that this is a tech product. I mean, today file sharing, you have so many cloud and all that stuff, is easy. But I think when nothing was available, and you had to explain this concept. So the founder himself created this video. It's just a screen capture. And then they segmented. They said, we don't want to take it to everyone. We just take it to the tech users, because tech users would appreciate when you are saying, why is Dropbox faster than others? So because, and then they have explained it very beautifully, and he has explained it very beautifully over here. And they posted it on Reddit. They wanted 15,000 beta users. In 24 hours, they had 75,000 requests. And they then kind of said, not right now, we are not taking any more requests. So again, so the other strategy is, don't wait for the product to be ready. Market your concept, go hustle, go and talk to people, tell them what I've seen startups come and tell me, if I sign an NDA, then I'll tell you my product. And that's kind of surprising, because I'm sure at any point in time, at least 50 people are working on the same idea. And it's not about idea, it's about how well you execute. It's about how well you go and how well you develop your product. So go and start selling before the moment you think. Go and validate your idea. Once the idea is validated, create a video or whatever. Create a blog. It may not be a video. Talk about your product. What is your product? What will it do? How will it help? And start speaking to the right people. Segment your audience. Don't talk to everyone, because people will have their opinion. But these are not your targeted customers. So kind of figure that out. Now, so this concept now, a number of startups have used this concept to launch their product. So earlier this year, there was this product project management tool, Sprints like that launched. So they had a simple web page like this. And much before their launch, they just created this page and said, hey, sign up. And there was no information. So they, of course, did write about, they had a blog where they talked about what they are working for, what they're working towards, but nothing about the product. They just created this. And then they took it to a step further, which you will see in this screen. So they say, this is when I signed up. About 145,000 people are ahead of me. You want to jump the line? Share it with your 12 friends. So now I have not seen the product, but this guy is saying that, hey, you are already in the line, why don't you share with your friends, and kind of we'll give you early access. So that's kind of, not don't wait for your product, go and figure out who is your customer and kind of get them onboarded, get them in a mailing list, start communicating with them, what are you working on. Now, the next example is kind of very relevant for if you're doing a B2B product or a SaaS product or whatever, and it's kind of creating the product with the market. So, have you guys heard of a company called Workday? Yeah. So it's kind of complicated to work, and I don't need to explain all that. So, to build something, so if you ask anyone who is in sales and B2B, they will say, yeah, this thing of giving 50 rupees off and 300 rupees in a wallet does not work in B2B. People have deep pockets and it takes years to build a relationship. And Workday was in a similar situation. The likes of Oracle is, when your competitor is Oracle, what can you do? What freebie can you offer to an enterprise? So what they did was, they kind of found people, evangelists in their target customer organizations, and they worked with them. So they kind of worked so closely with these evangelists that these people, some of them kind of left their organization and started working for Workday subsequently. And they paid super attention to their needs. Okay, this is how this should work. This is the problem we are having with this system. If you solve this, we will definitely use it. And we are already using this is how you can do it better. So they kind of work with the customers to build their product. And this culture at Workday continued. So they do something like Workday Rising, where what they do is they call all their customers, they call all stakeholders, take their ideas, and there is a free flow of exchange of information. Now, a number of organizations do that, but most of them have not perfected it. Workday has, because their customers blog about Workday. They are so happy about the product, and they say that, hey, my suggestion, Workday worked on my suggestion, and see, this feature is the result of that. So it's not about just working with customers, but really working with customers, really valuing their input. Now, the other one is, okay, now this question should be interesting. Who is not on LinkedIn? Okay, so what is LinkedIn? Today, what is LinkedIn?
Your resume.
Resume, your profile, correct? Professional network. But I guess even in this college, most of the final year students will already be on LinkedIn. Am I wrong? Yeah, but when LinkedIn started, it was not for everyone. So Reid Hoffman and all the PayPal gang, when they started, they wanted to build a professional social network. By the way, there is a bit of trivia which kind of will come to later. So LinkedIn was based on a product or on a network which existed between 97 and 2000. It was called 60 Degrees. 97 and 2001. So they had to buy the IP from 60 Degrees to build LinkedIn. And initially what they did was, it was only Reid Hoffman's successful friends who had exit in the valley who were invited. So it was an aspirational place. You could not just go and build a profile on LinkedIn. A person on LinkedIn had to invite you to become a member of LinkedIn. And it was a very, very, club kind of thing. So it became the aspirational place to be. And they kept it only to Silicon Valley. So it became the aspirational place for anyone in technology to go. And the result was, this is what Forbes said. Now you don't have to go and network to find your next job. There's a portal that can do that. So, and it became very, very aspirational place. Now over the years they have changed, and there is a story of all the evolution of LinkedIn, how they have done. There's something called what they have perfected is double activation. So new users activate old users. Usually it's the other way around. Old users activate the new users. The way it works is, if I'm not on LinkedIn, I go. LinkedIn shows me people from my organization. Earlier it did not do that. So what happens? Okay, I know this. So I'll say, hey, connect with Pinkesh. Now Pinkesh may have been dormant on LinkedIn, but he gets a mail from Bhaskar that, hey, Pinkesh, I joined LinkedIn. So I activate someone who is already active on LinkedIn. So this is called a double virality loop. So we will not go into that because it's a session in itself. But this is how they kind of grew, and from there, then they made a number of experiments, and today everyone, probably even students, are on LinkedIn. And they have started sales and everything. Anyone heard of Yammer? Anyone used Yammer? So why don't you share Yammer's story? How does Yammer work?
Yammer is used by my organization for professional social networking. Very recently it was replaced by LYNC, which is nothing but Skype for enterprises. So
do you link?
Yeah.
Link, yeah.
Yeah. So I have used Yammer a couple of times. It's nothing but a professional social network. There are a couple of other tools in the market who does it. One of them would be Tibber from Bitco.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's nothing. It's basically similar to a Facebook. Only thing is that the people from your organization are there.
How do they make money?
They charge enterprise on agreement, enterprise sales agreement.
Correct. Anyone wants to add to that?
Because corporate level, a lot of times they block Facebook, and that's where the
Correct. Correct. That's also right. Anything else to add to Yammer? How?
Like more of a community,
Yeah.
which is kind of, it's a corporate community which can be social.
Absolutely. So what Yammer, this is all right, but what Yammer did and no one else did was they trapped the market. So Yammer is free. You can go and sign up with your corporate ID, and you can start using it. But only when your admin wants to administer you, give you certain rights, take off certain rights, is when they kind of charge money. So what they did was they got the users, and then they went and told these enterprises, hey, I already have your users. Do you want to administer? Do you want to make it a better experience? Today they can do anything. Do you want to control what they do? Any enterprise would say yes. When they started doing these enterprise agreements, started making money. So essentially, you kind of, instead of going to the admin and spending years just explaining the benefit of Yammer over Facebook, they kind of got the users on Yammer, and the users then made sure that Yammer did their enterprise sales. Okay, so that's pretty much what I wanted to, the 5 stories, 6 stories that I wanted to share. The next session is about something, my experience, one hack that we recently did and got some good traction. So any questions until now, or we want to put all the questions for later? So I assume I'll go ahead. So this is all about art and science. So my question to you is, in your startup, if you have 20,000 rupees, what can you do? For growth, marketing, what will you do with 20,000 rupees? What can you achieve?
Build the product.
Build the product. No, product is there. This is just to acquire customers or what will you, okay. Fair enough. We will build an awesome product in 20,000 rupees.
AdWords.
You will do AdWords. Okay.
Video.
Build the email list.
Build an email list. Awesome. Yeah.
Get
These are
goodies
all
for interns, and get goodies for interns and for college students.
Okay.
And sort of make them socialize things and spread the word on Facebook or Twitter.
Okay. So what's your product? Are you working on a product?
Yeah.
What's your product?
So that's basically to video processing. So that's
Video processing.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Social media marketing.
Social media marketing.
Build some element of virality into it, so that when someone refers 5 people, you get something for free.
Okay.
User base that.
Virality into it. Let me further complicate the question. What will you do with this 20,000 rupees if your competition is Ola and Uber?
Hack this.
Steal
customers.
Steal customers.
Work on experience.
Hack this. Hack this.
Yeah. What will you? I mean, how do you go and steal customers from Uber for 20,000 rupees? And how many customers?
I try to talk to drivers. Having this money.
Acha, you will take drivers. Okay. Nice.
I try to identify minimum 10 customers, give them a better experience that they have with Ola, and hope that they spread the word to many other people.
You will attract 10 customers.
Yes.
Okay. That's a much better number to work with. Anyone else?
Bring up a feature, something like ride share between customers or something which isn't there in the market.
Can you do that in 20,000 rupees? What will be a developer's salary?
एक महीने में हो जाएगा।
एक महीने में 20,000 का कौन डेवलपर रखेगा? What else? Think.
Probably if I have an application which I'm promoting, I can offer some free recharge coupons.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Recharge coupons.
Yeah.
Correct.
Using my application.
Yeah. So recharge is good. You can give 10 rupees and kind of. Okay.
I'll probably give 1,000 rupees to 20 customers to start using my app.
1,000 rupees to 20 customers. He's better than you.
I think there's another way. Put a lucky dip kind of a thing. 20,000 to 1%, but whoever shares the most, whoever takes the maximum rate gets it.
Nice. He's probably even better. He will probably get 50.
Invest in down payment of buying a car.
So you will?
Invest in down payment for taking a taxi.
Okay, you will make a down payment, take a taxi and join Ola or Uber.
No, I have my own. See, I belong to pinktaxi.com. I'm taxi is a word.
Okay.
I have a startup called pinktaxi.com.
Okay.
That's my startup.
Okay, pink taxi, that's very interesting. What do you do?
Basically, I started this startup called pinktaxi.com.
Yeah.
It's a regular app, phone, and all other methods of calling it. I have recruited two distributed car only for students. Which nobody is doing right now in India.
Okay.
Only for students.
Okay.
It's because of security reasons.
Okay.
So you have same college, same students, same area. So they'll be sharing the lens order.
Okay.
That is one thing I want to do. I have to introduce one more thing for which is the elderly people.
Okay.
Who need care when traveling. That's second and concept. These two. And apart from that, see, if you don't have app and all this, how do you call a taxi?
Okay. Phone call. Hail.
That's it. Reverse engineering.
Okay.
Instead of going on technology, I'm going to stop who is going to call a taxi.
You will?
I'll stop a taxi like autos. You know how they stop.
Okay, so you have taxis on the road?
Yeah,
which
right
people
now.
can hail?
Yeah, no, it's just 10 days old, which I'm operating myself.
Okay.
I go to a nano taxi, metro.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find out the market. It's very good.
Okay.
Easily I can earn 1,000 rupees with all my expenses.
Okay. Very nice. So, why did you call it pink taxi?
Why you should not call it taxi?
No, because my question is because there is something to do with pink.
No, this, that.
No, okay.
Yeah.
So my question is because is it because women and what?
No, some other I can give you a write-up. It's not for women actually. Pink
Okay.
is not for women.
Okay.
I can send you an article about it.
Okay.
But before I know this about the green color, it was regarding that. No, that December thing happened.
Yeah.
It had something to do with. I thought.
Correct.
We have to do some extra thing for the protection of women. And that is one of the reasons, but it's not only for women. It's everybody uses it.
Yeah, so there is, I guess, Meru or someone has pink taxi which women drive. Women drive.
Women driving is not possible. Yes.
In Dubai.
Yeah. Even in India, there is.
Ahmedabad,
Meru has pink taxis.
Ahmedabad has pink taxis.
Yeah.
Everybody have a notice active. But here this was.
But the mind is for sale.
No, it's not. It's not TAKSI, not XI.
Oh, TAKSI.
TAKSI.
Taxi. Oh, nice. Good.
Taxi, yeah.
Yeah. Anyone else like? He will buy. He has a business, so he'll put a down payment. Another 1,000 rupees per month starts coming in. Nice. What else? Anyone else? Okay, so I of the few startups that I advise, one of them is AutoWale. AutoWale runs auto rickshaw service in Pune on app, and so this is something I did for AutoWale very recently. So when we talk about art, science and art, so what is this science and what is this art? Science is like looking into numbers and purely into numbers. So what we did was we ran analytics on the last 3 years data that we had. We realized that 60% of our users were women, and they use it for daily commute. And 10% of this 60% uses us more than 5 times a week. So this was kind of a number that came up that we saw. So we decided to investigate this further. So then we came up, then we started talking to our customers, and what we realized was these are the reasons women told us. Usually we have only one car at home, so the husband takes, so I have to take the rickshaw. Then there is parking issue, driving, the roads are congested, and then my question was then why don't you use Ola or Uber? So there are places in Pune that are far off, like IT hubs. So women told us that they feel safer in rickshaw in evening because it's slower, it's open on all sides, which is why they want to take a rickshaw instead of a cab. Yeah, I'm not saying all women said this, but this was also a sentiment. So that got us thinking, what can we do? Like 60% of our users are women. What can we do to kind of do something and kind of and we did not have a lot of budget. So that is when we decided to launch paid rickshaws. So we have a budget. So we have a budget to kind of do the branding on rickshaws. Earlier we were doing black, mostly black because it's kind of more visible. When you put a yellow brand on that, it's very visible at night. But we decided, hey, women use us more, so let's kind of use pink rickshaws. We did that, and we timed it around Women's Day, which was 8th of March, and that is the day we had launched pink rickshaws in Pune. But then again we thought, now this is directly coming from the science part. Women, so converted to pink. But then we had to put a spin around it. So what we did was we did some research, and we found Sheila Kamble. Now, this guy is one of our drivers, and this is his wife Sheila Kamble. Incidentally, Sheila Kamble is the first women rickshaw driver in India, and her name is in Limca Books of Records. So we thought, why not approach her? Instead of going to Times of India and giving them a lot of money to publish our ad, what we did was we recorded her video. And we recorded her video, and she talked about when she started in 78 or whatever driving rickshaw, the challenges, how Auto Wale has improved their lives, how they make regular money, blah blah blah, life has increased. And we did a small press release in Bhaskar Thakur. Every city has one. And how much do you think do you need to arrange a press conference? Correct. That's all you need to go and do a press conference. All the media will come. There are people who are sitting there just to have tea and coffee, and they will take your story and they will go and publish it. So we did a small PR, physical PR, not the web PR, at the Patrikar Bhavan, and we decided to take it a step further. So for the social part, what we did was, so this is how the rickshaw looks from inside. It's all pink. And what we did was we coined this term pink shop, and kind of did social marketing around that. What happened was we were picked up by all media. We were picked up by radio, we were picked up by Times of India, we were picked up by magazines. Times of India, radio did an exclusive interview for an hour with us. Times of India did a feature page on us. Times of India again featured on events with this pink. And it was all not because we kind of talked about we have done pink rickshaw. It was because of Sheila Kamble. Because we never told that we have built this rickshaw. It was all about women. It was about the first women rickshaw driver, and she kind of urged other women to get independent and kind of look at this profession again. So this is our cost for the rickshaw. Sorry? Yeah, okay, so what we did was, it was all themed around Bollywood inside pink. So there was Amitabh Bachchan on one side, Shashi Kapoor on another side, and all other. So it was all, we wanted to make it pink, but we wanted to keep it lively. We did not want to make it such that men don't sit in that rickshaw. So, which is why. And then this was a campaign, that the rickshaws were in a particular spot, you could go and get yourself trained. And so that's the story behind Shashi Kapoor, and it's nothing to do with Dada Saheb Phalke Award.
Whoever uploads a photo will get a free ride.
Correct. And this is our campaign cost. So of course I have not taken the cost of rickshaw branding. This is an annual exercise. We give our rickshaws a makeover every year, which costs us about 1,000 to 1,500 rupees, depending on how much we do, what all we do.
How does this Auto Wale work? Do they guys own rickshaws or?
No, it's the same model. It's okay. You come, join us, get your rickshaw and kind of work with us.
Okay.
So the overall objective of this exercise was to make sure that women kind of come to this big rickshaws to rapidly.
So overall objective was that we realized 60% of our usage is women. So how do we kind of make it, and we knew to make it, to claim that we are safer, we had to do a lot of things. You have to have the GPS, and in an open device like rickshaw, you cannot install panic button and things like that. So we just wanted to give a feel that yes, we care for our customers that are who are women.
Typically, if you go to any place, just a part.
Sure.
If you go to any place, whichever comes first, you just get into it. Right? Whichever auto or taxi comes,
Correct.
you just take that.
Correct.
So, is this another way to kind of ensure that people wait for this kind of auto to come by and then use
No, so this is on app. So just like you hail a taxi on your app, our rickshaws are on app. So you kind of, you see which rickshaws are available and you can hail them.
Cost is going to be the same, is it auto and taxi?
For what?
The metered autos, Pune, how much they charge per kilometer?
Now 20, 25.
No,
Not
it's 11 rupees.
Yeah,
25
right now.
kilometers.
11 rupees per kilometer.
25, here in Bangalore is 25 or 2 kilometers.
Yeah. Yeah, so of course there is something like that. There is 19 rupees something for the first 2 kilometers and then 11 rupees per kilometer. Broadly, that's how it is.
See, the taxis, it's the same cost for taxi also. Why
Correct.
would they prefer to go with an auto?
I gave you a few reasons. It's safer, and taxis still, as he mentioned, he never gets taxi. How many taxis do you think are there in India? And what is the number of rickshaws in India? Auto rickshaws?
Bangalore there are around 30,000 rickshaws, auto rickshaws.
30,000.
Even if there are 30,000,
No. Pune has 50,000 auto rickshaws.
Bangalore is much
Bangalore will be much more. It will be over a lakh. I don't have that number, so I will not quote the number. But I know Pune has
Over
50,000.
8,000.
Correct.
What was your revenue growth after this campaign?
Yeah, I will come to that. So essentially, any questions? So yeah, someone else had a question. So now I will come to
Simply from my interest, what is the customer base that Auto Wale had before this campaign, and how many followers did you guys have in Twitter? Because if you don't have,
no, we don't. We are not on Twitter. We are not doing Twitter. We have realized our user group is women who are not on Twitter. Like generally in their 30s who go to office every day.
So this virality, how did it work on social media? Okay, they liked your page and then you put something on your page and that's how it spread.
Correct. It was more on Facebook.
Okay.
maybe after this, how many more downloads did you get in your apps?
Yeah, so this we were not focusing on apps at this point in time because there's a reason. When I'll come to but it's nice to know what people expect from this campaign. What else would you expect with this 20,000?
Negative press because it was
No negative press. So in fact, one entire morning, 7 to 9, Radio Mirchi was quizzing people in Pune what is pink shop. And it kind of helped us. So they got this, they thought it's a nice term to ask, and they were just quizzing everyone. You know they keep having, if you know SMS, they make their money like that. So there is no negative press. We very carefully worded our press release. We never mentioned safety. Because for safety there are certain norms. We do things for safety, but this was not for safety. So this is the result. We trended in Pune, we were covered by press. In that month, we had 30% increase in rides booked. So we were on an average doing about 700 rides a day. It increased to about 850 immediately after that campaign. This is in March. And then April, we were covered in national news, and Fast Company shortlisted us as one for consideration of one of the top 100 most creative people in business. Yes.
What's the revenue? What do the auto get for this? Any money they get from the app?
Yeah, so I cannot disclose all the business model. Now that I know that you are in the same I have my non-disclosure with the. So yeah, so we were selected by, we were interviewed by Fast Company. So yeah, to answer your question, this is the increase in the.
Follow-up question to this. Is it just a spike or this 30% stayed, stayed?
No, 30% stayed and then there was a fall because that's the seasonal thing. When there are examinations, our demand goes down. No, March, after that it comes down. So there was...
You don't think that that's because the novelty factor has worn off?
No, so what we did is we correlated with the last year data and it had similar trends. Yeah, please.
I just had a question. What is the churn rate of your what is the churn rate?
Churn rate of?
The customers.
Churn rate of our customers. So when we, I don't know that number, but what we have seen is, let me think.
No, because when you say 30% increase in rights, I just want to know how you evaluate your customer. What you spend to acquire one customer and what is the churn rate?
So these rights, I'm not saying all these rights came from new customers. There were also old customers.
I understand. It's like the new customers, 30% increase in rights.
Yeah.
So when there are 30% more people joining, there must be 30 people leaving. So that's the churn rate.
I understand. So I don't have that number as of now.
Okay.
Especially for that month. We have an average. We don't have churn rate. What happens is, we've seen people use us in a month, not use in the next month. So if we say that they have gone off, then that's not. No, that's not. They come back in the third month.
Exactly, but that's still a churn rate. Okay, so like when you say like 30% increase in price, how do you? What is the amount of money you spend? Okay, you said 20,000 fine, but how do you? Like how much do you spend on each customer, and how do you value the lifetime value of your customer? What do you do?
So our customers typically use us for 18 months.
18 months.
Yeah.
Okay. So the lifetime value of the customer?
They probably use. I will not give you the number because that's.
I don't want the exact number. I just wanted it to like X and Y. That's all. So if you say like I'm spending X amount of money to acquire the customer.
Yeah.
My lifetime value of the customer is 3x.
You want that number? It's about 5x.
5x.
Yeah. I thought you want the exact.
No.
It's about 5x in 18 months.
I heard you said that you signed the customers.
Sign? Yeah, so we were interviewed, but that's not all. If you follow Fast Company, we are in the top 100 most creative businesses in this year's Fast Company. Fast.co. So this was in May. Like last week they announced this, and they said these are the guys who gave India a lift. And again, it was the picture that they picked up to publish was again from that Women's Day pink rickshaw. So now I would not say that this happened only because of pink rickshaw. We have done a lot of things because otherwise everyone will do one such stunt, and we've been in business for almost 4 years now. So we've done a lot of things, but at least I can attribute this, them choosing this photograph to that pink rickshaw. I mean, of course, we did a lot of writings. Yeah, so that's pretty much.
Just a quick one. Yeah. Did you see any decline in the mail delivery using your that 40% back?
Mail? No. No, because of pink, no. We made sure that we had all this Bollywood theme inside, just to counter that. We thought that this may be the case.
Do you have an IVR system or it's just an application?
No, both. We have an IVR, but we are trying to dissuade people from using IVR because there's a huge cost.
Okay, yeah. So when you said you have an IVR, I have a question. Like, your advertising was more into social media. So, like, what are the people, the number of people, the percentage of people who are ordering through IVR and through an application? I mean, which numbers would
it's 35-75. 35 on an app.
35 on app and 75 on
Yes. Because of our demographic, as I mentioned. Not as many students, but more people who go to work daily use our service. Any other questions?
How many autos do you run? How many autos?
Sorry?
How many autos do you have today?
So overall, about 1,000 autos.
So this is a good hike, but how? What are so going right and asking on that question, right? What are the things you did to keep this sustained?
No, so we do a campaign every time. I just wanted to pick up one. And you cannot keep doing the same thing. You have to kind of innovate. So I just picked up one because I thought it is relevant and it has given us good result.
So each one of them was in that 20,000 range only, or was it like?
No, we also do discounting in certain months, like we give 100 rupees off on every ride. And that is the best thing, by the way. If you put money in their pocket, that's the best thing, but you cannot always do that.
Do you have any ideas? Do you have any ideas?
IP?
Do you have any IP? Do you have any intellectual property rights?
Tough question. Yeah, I mean, I think I would.
I mean to ask you, have you filed any patents?
No, we will not file any patents. Of course, we have IP, we have the code base. We have the code base, which is our intellectual property. We have the user information, user data, but we will not file any patents. Or at least I don't know, maybe as far as I know, we don't have.
No, I asked this question because you said you keep innovating. So when you keep innovating, you always tend to file IPs.
No, so I did not use innovation in that sense. We don't, we did not just make a new rickshaw or whatever. We just kind of innovate in how we kind of keep getting new customers.
Exactly, process innovation.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it. So that's what I wanted to discuss. And end of the day, every startup has to find their own, how do they adapt to this framework. And the fun part is, like, in marketing, you do these things. You will spend so much, you will get so many clicks in AdWords, or if you put a Times of India ad, you will get this kind of visibility, leads coming up. Growth and growth hacking is all about using these tools effectively so that you kind of minimize your burn or maximize your customer acquisition. That's pretty much what I had for today. Any feedback, any questions is fine.
So one thing, on the growth hacking, especially on the social media, now it has become, if you want to take the route of the paid advertisement and things like that, it's become extremely expensive.
Very expensive.
And even if you target it and you target it rightly, still it is quite expensive because of PPC and all.
Correct.
So I'm saying that many of us in this class are now at that stage where we are taking our product to the market. So what do you suggest in that sense?
So figure out the right channel. First of all, when you're starting, reach out to a very focused segment. Don't try to spread it thin and for everyone, because if you reach out to a targeted segment, your cost will be lower, your messaging will be much more targeted, which means you'll have a better conversion. So
something like making a video or something which is like.
So there are many things, like it would all depend. Like in your case, I don't think a video is required. In your case, it will be some kind of a good tie-up, where you get access. Once you have your MVP, probably where you can just go and install it in 100 vehicles. So that's the point. Like, there is no set formula, because as you pointed out, social media is not at all social now. Like, everything is paid. The reach on Facebook, organic reach is almost equal to zero. Like, hardly it reaches out to anyone. Yeah.
Sorry to ask you, but are you a developer?
Sorry?
Sorry to ask you, but are you a developer?
I was a developer until '99. After that, I am a business developer. now I look at growth.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. That was awesome. Ramadan, if you can come over, we have a small token of appreciation for Bhaskar. Bhaskar, we appreciate your time here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me over.
We have some tea and snacks. Some tea and snacks outside, and Bhaskar will be there to answer any more questions that you have. Thank you so much for joining today.
As far as NDAs.